ايش عامل؟ ሰላም ነው? ይሰማል? ሻሚል ይሰማል? ሄሎ እሺ መልካም በቃ የተወሰነ ደቂቃ እንጠብቃቸውና ጆይን እስኪያደርጉ ከመስታት
but not on the statuses.
ሄሎ ሰላም ነው ገላ ይሰማል? አይ ቲንክ ዊ ሃቭ ዌይትድ ኢነፍ ታይም መጀመር የምንችል ይመስለኛል። ስለዚህ አስ ዩዥዋል this week we have Party Bank as client. And for Party Bank, what we are assigned to do was as an analytics engineer, you are expected to give an insight on how they can lend money to their customers, and this party wants to penetrate this e-commerce company, and they want buy now, pay later service to start, and that means we are literally saying that you are expected to be an analytics engineer and to be develop this credit scoring model. When we say what does mean by credit scoring is like how can you know whether somebody is paying back your money or your company's money, and whether they are going to pay or not. They are at risk. How do you identify? You are the one who is having the data from the past customer data. You have had information about how that these risky customers look like, and you can find the data patterns from the data that you have, and building this analytics tool to predict whether someone is a good borrower or not. That means the likelihood of their paying back their loan is how much percent. Do you realize that percent? Do you have, because this can be related to multiple factors. But as a party bank analytics engineer, you need to give at least a reasoning that is suitable and evidence based reasoning. So clearly stating what this credit scoring means is having a tool like to predict whether a customer is risky or safe, to give them money or they are repaying their loans, and will this customer will pay back the loan? Is that if so, on how should I lend it? How much should I lend them, and for how long? You need to specify that one with a new credit scoring model. And to answer these questions, you have to analyze data from the previous borrower data and to create a machine learning model that can give this credit score or the probability of the risk. So credit scoring in the other means in the other side we can say it like probability of risks. That means the probability of risks that you have by lending money to Mr. X, and if it is below expected, you will definitely do not to lend that much money for that person. He will not pay back. So in their repayment, also you need to consider how are they going the repayment period. Also the other things, how much they return on that specific period, and as a credit scoring model, you can use these statistical techniques and various information by the borrowers have and their relationship with your bank. That means their transaction history, the deposits that they have in your bank, and this results with their creditworthiness or interrelate with their creditworthiness, and by default the credit scoring can be associated with each financial institutions, and it complies with the Basel Capital Accord. So this is the accord, and you can read it more detail about it. But this specific task, what they are expected to do is to build this credit scoring model, and you have machine learning modeling techniques and statistical modeling techniques to build up the model. So when we say machine learning, like regression models or and any statistical analysis to find patterns and insights from the given data, plus that will help you to model, to engineer your futures and drive the futures that you have. And as a step that needs to be followed for this specific task is first define your variables that can be used to categorize the high risk and low risk customers. That means who are your high risk customers, who are your low risk customers, what's their behavior. Like first customer who have borrowed 100 birr and will return that 100 birr within a week would be one as a good customer. You can say that or a customer that have borrowed 1,000 and paid within a week is a good customer or low risk customer. But a customer that borrows 500 and didn't return within 3 months, is that can be a flag for you. And when you see their customer demographic information, like if they are male or female, if their location, if they have permanent work, or if they have married or not. There are so many factors which we can consider, but it just before that start like to define that who are the low risk customer, and who are the high risk customer. Then once you have that, you can go to see what are the observable features that you have, and uh, that are a good predictor and have high correlation between this default variable that you have defined in step one. Then the next is building the model, assigning the risk probability of your new customer, then having this credit score for the new customer and its risk probability estimates. And this will help you to model which customer is credit worthy and which customer is not which customer is not. Now, then the final thing is developing the model and predicting it according to what you have the optimal amount, and what should have to be the duration of the loan. And for that, we have collected data from this Kaggle, but you can find the data also here. Here are the fields that's associated with this data set. So the first one is the transaction ID, where it's a unique identifier for each transaction. And this is important because it helps to track each individual purchase and uh, each individual communication between your bank, and that's not directly, it doesn't have the direct impact on the risk prediction, but how much transaction that the person made, and it will helps you to count that one. And the next is the batch ID, a unique number which is assigned to identify a group or a batch. Mm, and when the batch of transaction can made, you can see a pattern in how transactions are processed, like a batch that have more front or stuff. You can see you can have a group based information from this one, and the account ID, the unique number that identifies customer account, and this ties with the transaction that they have made, and also allows you to analyze their behavior. And on the next, you have the subscription ID, and identifies as an identifier, you have the customer subscription plan for the customers on different plans might have show different spending or repayment behavior. So you can have this information from this subscription ID, and customer ID is still it's a unique identifier, but you can have a high level glance of the customer or customer level pattern from the data that you have and their total spending, total repayment history, and the currency code. Yeah, maybe that can happen like if it's USD or Euro or some other format. You can get it from the currency code, and this is useful for understanding the regional difference in spending, like for those who are using USD or for those who are using Euro, how this law can be applied, and you can see the pattern from that one. And country code, code that represents the country, but this geographical information might influence your credit risk. Plus, it can be reflective of the local economic condition. Then the provider ID, and the one that gives this credit and can provide the information that have high risk of fraud or a default one, and you can get that information from it. And when you come to the product ID, identifies this specific product purchase, why it's important. Some product might correlate with higher or low risk. That means the one, for example, you have a person who spend more on luxury items might indicate high financial stability. So that can be the other indicator. So basically, to see this type of informations are important. Then the product category, the group product into a product category, like having electronics, clothing, or stuffs. But this is why this is important is spending. So your spending pattern can be seen from what in this one. That means the category indicates the risk level. Like if you spend, you are the one who is making a low and spending more, so you will not be creditworthy. So having this information would be the other thing. And the channel ID, how customer made transaction, like through web or through mobile, that's also the other factor. So this risk level may different, but still the transaction channel, if they are easier and accessible more, they later might have higher defaults. So having that information also another critical. And from the amount side, yeah, you need to have the amount clearly stated. And the next is the value of the amount, the monetary value, whether it's debit or negative, or whether it's a debit or credit. But the amount, the value is similar to amount, but useful when you only care about the size of the transaction. And the transaction time, it's important. The pricing strategy, like the model used there is e-commerce platform, so there will be a discount or a premium pricing. So this pricing strategy will have might attract the riskier customers. So you need to be careful on that one also. How they how did they buy and return it, or what does it mean? You need to see the pricing strategy, and also the fraud result. It indicates that the transaction is fraud or not. So that means 1 and 0. So if a man has done a fraudulent transaction, it strongly indicates that this man have a risky behavior. So after this is the overall data description. So you can find the data here and this, and the definition also there. In addition to to the data that we have, we can add whatever data that's necessary, which relates this project. But as a learning objective for this week is, yeah, using is advanced scikit-learn and feature engineering, know how to engineer these features and build these machine learning models, plus fine tune them, which are the existing ones, implementing CI/CD deployment of the model and title logging. Unit testing plus the model management is the core skills that you will learn from this course. And also, as an additional, you will have the MLOps with dealing with having this continuous and machine learning development and integration, and also the ML flow. As an ML knowledge, you will have this reasoning with business context, data exploration, predictive analysis. You will have a knowledge about them, and also machine learning and hyperparameter tuning, plus the model comparison, how you can compare model and select it. And the from the communication side, you will have reporting and how you can report these statistically complex issues, and you know how to communicate the findings that you get. And this finding should have to be convincing enough for your high level managers to accept what you have proposed. So that means that we have competencies as usual. And so the key dates are today, which is Wednesday, 22 January, will be the start, and we will finalize this challenge on next Tuesday by 28th of January, and your interim submission will be on Friday, 24th. So, the first task, when it comes to the first task, it's about understanding what's the credit risk. And for this, we have attached so many links here which can explain more about what's the credit risk, what does it mean, and how can we associate that one with us. But so basically, why we are predicting this credit risk, is it important, and how financial institutions like banks measure it, and since our problem is the same Bati Bank, so how can we help Bati Bank to get this credit scoring? And once you have understand this concept, you can go proceed to the next level task, which is the second task. States about the getting to know your data. That means you explore your data. You have the overview of the data. You can summarize the statistics. You can see the distribution, plus how the data is structured, what's how many rows and columns, what does it mean to when it comes to relate to the problem that we have, and um, check if there is any pattern or between the numbers or the categories that's stated, find any missing value errors, or identifying a relationship between different data points if there is any correlation with them. And since data, we know that data, all the data are not complete by themselves. So we need to see a customer behavior from the what we have, and we need to see the customer spending pattern, their geographic trends, and the fraud. The fraud results clearly tells about these fraudulent transaction that the person makes. And there are so many challenges with respect to like how can you handle and missing value. Some might have a gap on their amount or country code. Maybe this can be a challenge there. You need to overcome. And also there can be an outlier, so you can detect outliers and show these are the outliers, and this is the measure that you have to take to remove or to go with the outliers. And also there are categorical values, and you need to encode or you need to standardize that data, and also there can be an imbalance with data on the fraudulent and for low risk customers. So you have to see and check, fix that one. And the next step is feature engineering. That means what the necessary features that, to model this credits, and what's the new piece of data that you can help you to improve the model. That means how like having aggregated features like the total transaction amount, the average transaction amount, or the transaction cost that they have, and the standard deviation of the transaction. This will give you the overall how much customer are spend on average, or how are they purchasing items. So this will gives you uh, a new way of features that can be applied to your modeling, and also extracting this new features like having transaction how the times in daytime. So you need to separate or chunkified the transaction hour, day, month, or a year. So that is the other. How can you see how often that they make purchase, or what time the peak times for making this product. And also the other thing is encoding these categorical variables. So you can use either a label encoder or one-hot encoding for the categorical values. And as I have said earlier, there will be a missing value. So imputation would be the first technique, or vacuum them if you think of the data is enough for that. But for the imputation also, there are many techniques you can uh, see on which one can be applied to your specific problem. So having this will gives you normalized and standardized numeric features, and there might be here and there from the data inconsistency, class imbalance. There can be so many things that you can find on the data, but you need to fix it, and in order to be um, error-free data that's complete enough to tell you this customer is credit worthy or not. We are dealing with money, so we need to be careful on what what are the features that we are going to select, and how can we fix if there is any missing value with respect, or any value that leads us towards the improper conclusion, or the conclusion that may cost us multiple dollars or multi-million dollars. So we need to be careful on that. And once we have done with the feature engineering part, which are the most important, we can have the plot this feature importance and calculate this importance per columns, and we can reflect that one while we are building the models. And the next step is starting to build the model or the grids for modeling. And here, as a task 3, we have uh, weight of evidence pinning or a default estimator. These are the techniques that can be used to while modeling this credit scoring. And the purpose of the system is to classify users as a high risk or low risk, and this group will be uh, with the high likelihood would be the default one, and those who didn't pay or the loans and principals and the investment is specified within this specified time frame. And to simplify the process, you can have RFMS formalism, or the classifying the users into good or higher FMS score, or bad into lower FMS score. Here is the reference to check for you on on what's the higher FMS and how can you localize. This is a research paper, and you can take a look at on this one to understand how the RFMS model and how you can add this one to the model. And once you have the construct of the default estimators, that means the proxy you have, and by visualizing all the transaction in RFMS space and establishing the boundary. Where we came to this RFMS concept is because credit scoring have multidimensional problem. That means you need to see from the person spending, the person habits, from their spending behavior, their habit, and from what they have like on their society. How does the saving can be considered? Having loan, is that the advantage, or uh, having loan is a risk for them? So you need to identify all of things. In that sense, we cannot measure it like easily with the having either accuracy or precision. So we need to have additional metrics for the weight of winning or RFMS space, and we need to represent that in this space, and it will be um, convenient for us to model the credit scoring model in the weight of evidence or in the RFMS modeling techniques. Then the next is as usual, we have modeling selection, and that means you have multiple models, either a logistic regression or decision tree, like random forest or gradient boost. But which one is more related to your problem, and you will choose the one that have better accuracy for you based on the data you have. And after that, you can train the model, and you can use this hyperparameter tuning and fine tuning the existing techniques like research to improve the accuracy, or you can choose like algorithms, one from the logistic regression and one from the decision tree family, which is the random forest, and you can fine tune the model based on the research to improve this accuracy. And in terms of evaluation, you can have the evaluation in terms of accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. Plus, since this is a classification model, we will have also AUC curve. So, what does it mean? Like having high accuracy, did the model predict exactly those who are in risk, or did it predict those who are at risk as at risk, or those who are at low at high risk as high risk, or as a low risk as a low risk? So this can be measured by the accuracy. But if you want to see how well did it predict the risky customer, you have to see on either the precision or the recall one, and how good the overall, how good the model is good. You can see from the AUC curve. This curve can show you how the model performed in distinguishing the high risk and low risk customers. So the next is developing the API for serving the model, and to make it the model that can be something used by the bank, you need to provide the model by API or a small app. So in this scenario, we want it to be in API based, and you can a bank can enter their customer detail and gets a prediction in real time. So this will allows you what you have done
to be accessible easily. And overall, what will be the learning outcome from doing this five tasks could be having the knowledge about the machine learning. That means building a machine learning model, future engineering, and fine tuning the existing models, plus having a data analysis or exploring data analysis. Understanding the data itself and what does this data means, how can I translate this into my existing problem, and the next is how can I drive features that from the raw information that's given. Like if it's given date of birth, you can calculate their age, and you can create a derived feature or a derived information from what's there, and this will help you to see from unseen direction and to know customer is creditworthy. You have to see in multiple dimensions, so that will be the other things which you need to consider. And the other thing is having this MLOps knowledge, as if we are training these machine learning models, we are dealing with them. We need to know how can we continuously develop and continuously integrate those. Plus, how can we register the model artifacts, the model related um, metadatas, and our experiment becomes more and more easy to access and easy to debug. And if you want to go back, if you want to go for future, what type of a simple change in your learning rate or a simple change in your number of input will vary the result that you get from the model. So, in order to have this diversity or these things to be registered and know what's the result when you change the learning rate, what's the result when you change the batch or the number of inputs, what's the result that when you have this feature and that feature, what's the result when you have derived features like age or something. And this will give you additional insight on how your model is working, and it's good to have on this kind of information, and if to select which one is the better performing state for your model. And also from the communication wise, how you can translate the existing problem into um, a problem that have solution that's given by these five tasks, and how can you say that your finding is useful for party bank. And uh, you can say that this much to this person I am confident, 95% I am confident that the model will identify those creditworthy uh, customers for party bank. And you can tell that the story, how you do that, like stating in the first I have done this and this will help the party bank to maximize its profit from the borrowers, and this is the task I have done for party bank to be more profitable with these this and that tasks. And as usual, we will have tutorial sessions, and those tutorials will start today. And um, on the morning session, we will have what's the credit analysis and risk modeling, and we will learn about the future engineering steps and the weight of evidence, the information value. And on Friday, we will have model training and hyperparameter tuning with evaluation. And since evaluation will be the key thing, because this is sensitive data and you don't want to risk your company, so we will have that one. And how can we serve a model, also we will have that tutorial. So is that clear overall? Are you clear on what to do, or things are clear? Is that clear? ግልጽ ነው። እስቲ ክሬዲት ስኮሪንግን በተመለከተ ነው የምንሰራው ዚስ ዊክ። ስለዚህ ባቲ ባንክ የሚፈልገው ከስተመር ማበደር ነው እና ያንን ለማበደር ደግሞ ከስተመሩ ለመበደር ብቁ ነው አይደለም፣ ወይም ደግሞ ገንዘቤን ይመልስልኛል አይመልስልኝም፣ ሀይ ሪስክ አለው ኦር ሎ ሪስክ ነው የሚለውን ያ ማለት ይመልሳል አይመልስም ብለን ክላሲፋይ ለማድረግ የሚያስችል ኢንፎርሜሽን አለን ወይ? የመጀመሪያው እና መቼ ምን ሲያደርግ ነው አንድ ከስተመር መመለስ ይችላል ብለን ፎርሙሌት የምናደርገው ምን ደግሞ ሲያደርግ ነው አይ ይሄ ከስተመር መመለስ አይችልም የሚለውን ፕሮክሲ ቫሪያብል ካለን ዴታ ላይ ተነስተን ድራይቭ እናደርጋለን። ን ቤዝድ ኦን ዳት ዴታ እያንዳንዱን ፊቸሮች አይተን ኢቫሉዌት አድርገን የምንፈልገውን ለምሳሌ ከስተመር ሁልጊዜም ከኛ ጋር ከ10 በላይ ትራንዛክሽን ያለው ከሆነ ላይክሊ ክሬዲት ሪስኩን ይከፍላል ብለን ፕሮክሲ የምናወጣ ከሆነ ኢት ዳዝንት ወርክ ኢን አክቹዋል ፋክት ቢኮዝ 10 ትራንዛክሽን ያለው ከስተመር ክሬዲት ሊከፍልም ላይከፍልም ይችላል። ሶ ፕሮክሲዎቻችንን ስናወጣ ማየት ያለብን መልቲፕል ዳይሜንሽን አለ ማለት ነው። እሺ ጀነራላይዝ ለማድረግ እየሞከርኩኝ ነው። ማለት ያለው ነገር ምንድን ነው? በቃ አንድ ከስተመር ሲመጣ እናንተ ባንክ ኦር እናንተ የምትሰሩት ሲስተም ላይ የሚጠቀመው ባቲ ባንክ ነው። እዛ ባቲ ባንክ ላይ መጥቶ ክሬዲት እፈልጋለሁ ወይም መበደር እፈልጋለሁ ካለ ያንን ፋሲሊቴት የሚያስደርግለት ነው። ለምሳሌ አሁን አይተም መግዛት ይፈልጋል፣ መኪና ኦር ቤት በእኛ ሀገር ኮንቴክስት ብታዩት መግዛት ይፈልጋል። ስለዚህ የሆነ ባንክ ጋር ሪሌሽንሽፕ አለው። ባንኩ ደግሞ ባይ ናው ፔይ ሌተር የሚል ፊሎሶፊ ያለው ያ ማለት አሁን ትገዛለህ ከዛ ኔክስት ላይ ትከፍላለህ ነው። ስለዚህ ለዚህ ብድር አሰጣጥ የሚያበቃ እንትን አለው ወይ ይሄ ከስተመር ፕሮፋይል አለው ወይ እናንተ ባንክ ላይ ሲኖረው ለምሳሌ የሚያደረገው ትራንዛክሽን ሊሆን ይችላል ኦር ከዚህ በፊት በባንካችሁ ተጠቅሞ የከፈላቸው ፔመንቶች ሊኖሩ ይችላሉ። ስለዚህ እነኚህ ኢንፎርሜሽኖች ተይዘው ደግሞ ፕራዮርሊ ባንክ አካውንት ሲከፍት የምታውቁት የሰውየው መረጃ አለ። እነሱን ሁሉ ጠይቃችሁ እነኚህን ሁሉ መረጃዎች ካገኛችሁ በኋላ ይሄ ሰውዬ ክሬዲት ወርዚ ነው ወይም ደግሞ መበደር ይችላል ብላችሁ ዲፋይን የምታደርጉት መቼ ነው? ያ ማለት ለምሳሌ አሁን የሚገዛው የ1 ሚሊዮን ቤት ከሆነ 1 ሚሊዮን ለመግዛት ኦር የ1 ሚሊዮን መኪና ለመግዛት ሂያፍቱ አትሊስት ሴቭ 30%ቱን ከዛ የሆነ ያክሉን ደግሞ ባንኩ ሊያዋጣ ነው። ስለዚህ ባንኩ በምን ያክል ጊዜ ይመለስለታል? ለምሳሌ የ30% ከሆነ ወደ 300 ሺውን እሱ ያወጣል፣ 700 ሺውን ነው ባንኩ ሊሰጠው የሚያቀደው። ስለዚህ እንዴት ይስጠው? ኮላተራል ነው የሚያስይዘው። አሁን ላይ ኮላተራል ነው እያስያዘ ያለው። ግን ኮላተራል ከሌለው እንዴት ይስጠው? ካለው አሁን ለምሳሌ ያንን ሰውዬ የሚያውቀው ከሆነ ባንክ ኮንቲኒየስ የሆነ ኢንካም ካለው ተጨማሪ ነገሮች ማሳየት የሚችል ከሆነ ለምሳሌ ከዛ ባንክ ጋር የረጅም ዓመት ሪሌሽንሽፕ ኖሮት ንግዱ በዛ ባንክ ከሆነ እየተሰራ ያለው ምናምን ብላችሁ የራሳችሁን ሩል ሴት ታደርጋላችሁ። ከዛ እድሜው ከሆነ ያክል በላይ ከሆነ ቤተሰብ ካለው ደግሞ ይጨምራል። ተበድሮ የመጥፋት ፕሮባቢሊቲው እየቀነሰ ነው የሚሄደው። ይህን ከግምት አስገብቶ ፕሮክሲዎቹን ዲፋይን ማድረግ ሴት ኦፍ ሩሎቹን ያንን ሴት ኦፍ ሩሎች ደግሞ ለማግኘት የሚያስችላችሁን ከዴታው ኤግዛማይን ማድረግ which are features are more necessarily relate to giving this credit scoring. Then once you have done that ክሬዲት ስኮሩም ሞዴል ማድረግ አይዘር ዲሲሽን ትሪም ኦር ሎጂስቲክ ሪግሬሽንም ተጠቅማችሁ ሞዴል አድርጋችሁ ለምሳሌ አኪሬሲ ዋይዝ ብናየው ይሄን ያክል ፐርሰንት አኪሬት ነው ደ ሞዴል ቱ ፕሪዲክት ሃይ ሪስክ እና ሎ ሪስክ የሆኑትን ኦር ይሄን ያክል ፐርሰንት አኪሬት ነው ኦን ሃይ ሪስክ የሆኑት ሰዎች ላይ ሎ ሪስክ የሆኑት ላይ ግን ዊ ዋንት ቱ ዲፋይን አዘር ፕሮክሲስ ከተባለም እንደዛው። ከዛ ዌይት ኦፍ ኤቪደንሳችን ደግሞ ምንድን ነው ለዛ ኦር አርኤፍኤምኤሱ ምንድን ነው እሱንም ስቴት ማድረግ እና ኦቨርኦል የሚሰራው ይሄ ነው። ክሬዲት ስኮሪንግም ሞዴል ማድረግ ግልጽ ነው። ሌላ ግልጽ ያልሆነ ካለ እሺ። ኦኬ ታንክስ። ሌላ ለሌሎቻችሁስ ግልጽ ነው? ኤኒዋን ኢን ደ ኮል ካለ አትሊስት ለእናንተ ግልጽ ያልሆነላችሁ ሌተር ኮሉን ሪከርዱን ለሚያዩ ሰዎችም ግልጽ ሊያደርገው ስለሚችል ፕሊስ አስ ማች አስ ዩ ካን ጠይቁ። ደን አም ሃፒ ቱ ኤክስፕሌን። ግልጽ ነው ወይም ማውራትም ካልቻላችሁ ቤተር ቱ ራይት። ግልጽ ከሆነ ሌትስ ስቶፕ ኢት ሂር ነው። መልካም። ስለዚህ ግልጽ ያልሆነ ነገር ካለ ዊ ካን ቶክ ኦልሶ። ግን ለአሁኑ አይ ቲንክ ዌር ቱ ስታርት ክሊር ከሆነ እና ዋትስ ደ ክሊር ጎል ኦፍ ደ ቻሌንጅ ክሊር ከሆነ በቂ ነው። ስለዚህ አይ ቲንክ ዩ ዊል ሃቭ ኔክስት ሴሽን ኦን ሳለ ይመስለኛል። ሶ ሌትስ ሃቭ ዳት ዋን ፎር ናው። እዚህ ጋር እንጨርስ። ሶ ታንክ ዩ ኤቭሪዋን ፎር ጆይኒንግ።